time's veil where shadows collide. A battle unfolds, ancient forces align. Lucifer's light versus darkness reign. The Ascendants rise, defying the chains.
From letters to prophecies, history revealed in the Chronicles of Ascendants. Truths are unsealed, Theophilus and Manuris, a shadow with power, the battle for souls in the ultimate hour. Cosmic realms, what's the design? The host will take you through space and time. Memoirs and sources, secrets untied. The truth shines through, get ready to decide. Ascendants rise, light breaks the sky. Shadows whisper, but hope is nigh. In the chaos of worlds, a choice runs deep. Listen to the chronicles, where destinies meet. The truth awaits. Are you ready to choose? This is the Ascendants Chronicles.
Man, this is heavy, huh? It's January 21st, 2025, and we're still trying to wrap our heads around what we saw yesterday.
Trump's second inauguration, yeah.
I never thought I'd see anything like that, you know?
It was something else, that's for sure.
Especially not here in America, right?
You'd think after we moved to Dalbergen.
Exactly, like we'd be far removed from all that.
You'd think so, wouldn't you? But no, it's like we're right back in the thick of it.
I know, right? It was bizarre, like stepping into some kind of dark fantasy film.
Yeah, all those black flags and runes and that eerie mist hanging in the air. It was surreal.
Remember when we were back on the VU campus?
Back when we thought Ascendantism was just some crazy conspiracy theory.
Yeah, we were joking about it, right? Like, oh, those crazy internet people. And now, here we are.
Now it's staring us in the face, for real.
This is no joke anymore, that's for sure.
And the inauguration was basically a giant billboard declaring Trump's allegiance to this ideology.
Yeah, with Baudet and Jerichourt's right there beside him,
Yeah.
lending their stamp of approval.
It was a clear message. Ascendantism is here to stay.
Okay, so for our listeners who might not be totally up to speed on all of this,
We've got a lot of source material on Ascendantism, yeah.
an academic paper we've been digging into, transcripts of Trump's speeches, that Vic's victory speech from November, and then yesterday's inauguration speech.
We're going to get into all of that in detail, but first...
But first, can you give us a quick rundown of what Ascendantism is really about? Like, explain it like I'm 5, because this stuff can get pretty complex.
Absolutely. So imagine a world where your place in society is predetermined at birth, okay?
Okay.
And it's not based on your skills or your hard work.
Not on merit, like how we're used to thinking.
Exactly. It's based solely on your bloodline. That's Ascendantism in a nutshell.
So you're born into a certain caste, and that's it.
Pretty much. They believe that certain bloodlines are superior to others. They claim descent from, well, let's just say some interesting historical and mythical figures.
Interesting. How, like, who are we talking about here?
Thinking ancient gods, mythical heroes, that sort of thing.
Whoa. Okay. So they believe they're descended from these, like, super beings.
And because of that, they believe they're destined to rule.
Like they're the rightful elite.
Exactly. They call themselves archaeo-ascendants, and they see themselves as the rightful heirs to power.
Man, that's messed up. So it's like a caste system on steroids, with a dose of the supernatural thrown in.
Yeah, you could say that. And what's even more disturbing is that this ideology has a long and bloody history.
Oh, I bet. We see echoes of it throughout time, right?
From ancient Egypt to, well, yeah, even Nazi Germany.
That's what I was thinking. It's giving me serious Nazi vibes.
Yeah, it's not a coincidence. We'll delve into the historical parallels later on, but for now, let's just say that this isn't some harmless fringe belief system.
It's a dangerous ideology with a proven track record of leading to oppression and violence.
And now it seems to be taking root here in America.
It's been creeping in for a while, right?
Yeah, it started subtly.
Like dog whistles and coded language.
Exactly. But then with Trump's victory speech back in November, it became much more overt.
He basically went full Ascendantist, didn't he?
Yeah, that speech was a turning point.
Okay, let's talk about that November speech then. What were some of the key takeaways?
Well, he started by explicitly thanking Baudet and Jerichourt for their support. That was a huge red flag for anyone who'd been following the rise of Ascendantism.
Yeah, like why is the President of the United States thanking these European figures who are openly promoting this fringe ideology.
Exactly. It was a clear signal that he was aligning himself with their movement.
And then there was all that talk about bloodline and cleansing, like straight out of the Ascendantist playbook.
Right. Those weren't just random words. They were carefully chosen to appeal to his Ascendantist base.
And what about that part about Theophilus Emmanuelis and the Masters of the Shadows? That was creepy, right?
Yeah, that sounded like a veiled threat.
Like, who are these shadowy figures he's talking about? And what does he plan to do to them?
It's classic scapegoating. Create an enemy, demonize them, and then use that fear and anger to consolidate your power.
And that's exactly what he's doing, isn't he? He's setting the stage for some kind of purge, some kind of crackdown on anyone who doesn't fit into his Ascendantist vision.
And that brings us to yesterday's inauguration. Wow. I mean, where do we even begin?
It was like we were witnessing some kind of dark ritual, right?
Black flags, chanting blood and soil. It was chilling.
And the speech itself, pure Ascendantist rhetoric, no more dog whistles, no more coded language.
He was laying it all out there, plain and simple.
He talked about purging the weak, establishing a new order based on blood purity.
And hinted at eliminating those who resisted his divine mandate. It was frightening.
And Baudet and Geriots were right there beside him the whole time, nodding along like they were orchestrating the whole thing.
They vanished in a flash of light at one point.
Wait, what?
Yeah, it was bizarre.
Like poof, you were just gone.
Gone, just like that. It was clearly staged.
Staged, like a magic trick.
Exactly. Meant to showcase their supposed supernatural powers.
It's like something out of a comic book. But this is our reality now.
It's a reality where ancient ideologies are being resurrected.
And where dangerous demagogues are using those ideologies to seize power.
We need to understand what's happening.
We need to expose the truth.
And we need to fight back before it's too late.
Okay, so let's delve into the actual transcript of Trump's inauguration speech from yesterday. We have it right here, straight from the National Archives.
Good idea. Let's see what he actually said, word for word.
All right, I'm just going to start reading from the beginning. He opens with, "My fellow Americans, bound by the sacred ties of blood."
Whoa, right off the bat, he's playing to that Ascendantist obsession with bloodlines.
He's not addressing his audience as citizens, but as members of some exclusive group united by blood.
It's a classic tactic, you know?
Us versus them.
Exactly. Create a sense of unity and superiority within a specific group while excluding and demonizing others.
He continues, "This is not merely an inauguration. This is a rebirth, a cleansing, a return to the ancient order that has awaited this moment for millennia."
Lots to unpack there.
Yeah, those words are heavy for sure. Rebirth, cleansing, ancient order. He's drawing on some powerful imagery.
He's evoking a sense of historical destiny, a return to a mythical golden age.
Right. And cleansing. It has some pretty dark connotations, doesn't it?
It suggests purging, elimination, getting rid of anything that doesn't fit into this ancient order he's talking about.
He then says, "For 4 long years, the enemies of the true America believed they had prevailed. They were wrong. The blood remembers. The blood never forgets."
That's a clear message of vengeance and retribution. He's accusing his opponents of suppressing the true America.
And promising that their time is up.
Right. And that reference to the blood remembering, that's chilling.
It suggests a centuries-old vendetta.
Like some kind of blood feud passed down through generations.
And that's when the crowd started chanting blood and soil.
Yeah.
Man, that sent chills down my spine.
Isn't that straight out of Nazi ideology?
It is. Blut und Boden. It was a central tenet of Nazi propaganda.
Symbolizing their obsession with racial purity and territorial expansion. To hear that chant echoing in America now, it's truly frightening.
Okay, so this is getting really scary. Trump continues. "The so-called democracy that was forced upon us was a lie. It weakened our natural strength. But now, united with our Ascendantist brethren across the globe, we are ready not just to make America great again, but to elevate her to what she was always destined to be, a bastion of pure bloodlines."
He's straight up rejecting democracy there.
Yeah, it's like he's saying that democracy is a failed experiment.
And that only an elite based on pure bloodlines is fit to rule.
And notice how he says Ascendantist brethren across the globe.
He's not even trying to hide it anymore.
This isn't just an American thing. It's a global movement.
A global network of Ascendantists working together to achieve their goals.
This is just getting creepier and creepier, he says. This is not a political promise. This is a divine mandate, sealed in the blood of our ancestors and empowered by the ancient forces that Thierry and Hester represent here today.
Now he's bringing religion into it.
Yeah, he's claiming divine legitimacy for his agenda.
Like he's chosen by God or by these ancient forces to lead this Ascendantist revolution.
It's dangerous rhetoric for sure.
It dehumanizes his opponents and makes any form of criticism or resistance seem like, blasphemy.
Like you're going against God's will.
Exactly. You're not just disagreeing with a political opponent, you're challenging the divine order.
And then it gets really bizarre. From this day forward, every law, every decree, every action of this government will be in service to restoring the natural order. The weak have ruled for too long. Their time is over.
This is a declaration of war on anyone who doesn't fit into his narrow definition of the natural order.
It's like he's saying, if you're not with us, you're against us.
And if you're against us, you're going to be eliminated.
It's like he's announcing a totalitarian dictatorship, but he's veiling it in this pseudo-religious language.
He's using the language of faith and destiny to mask his authoritarian ambitions.
It's chilling. And he continues, "We will rebuild America on the foundation of ancient truths. Those who resist this sacred mission will discover that mercy is a luxury we can no longer afford. The borders will be cleansed. The cities will be cleansed. The minds will be cleansed."
That repetition of cleansed is deeply unsettling.
It sounds like a euphemism for ethnic cleansing, for political persecution, for thought control.
He's basically saying that anyone who doesn't conform to his ideology will be eliminated, one way or another.
Then, almost out of nowhere, we hear this booming, otherworldly voice. "Forget what you have been told about democracy and equality. These are lies, whispered by those who fear the truth of blood and hierarchy. A new dawn is breaking."
Whoa, that was freaky. I remember jumping out of my skin when I heard that.
Me too. It was like something out of a horror movie.
It was a voice from beyond. Literally, it came out of nowhere, amplified through the sound system, and then just faded away.
Like some kind of supernatural message from the Ascendantist gods.
And look at how he's presenting Ascendantism as the one true path.
Like everything else is just a lie.
It's a tactic we've seen time and again in totalitarian regimes.
Create an alternative reality. A closed system where there's no room for nuance or dissent.
You either accept their truth or you're the enemy.
And then, the grand finale. The reign of chaos ends. The dominion of the pure begins. Long live Ascendantism. Long live the new America.
It's like he's declaring himself the emperor of this new Ascendantist empire.
The new America. What a chilling phrase.
It's a dystopia, a nightmare world where individual liberty and human rights are sacrificed at the altar of bloodline and hierarchy.
And that wasn't even the end of it, right? After the speech. Those weird weather phenomena.
Lightning out of a clear sky.
The sudden temperature drops. The wind picking up.
It was as if nature itself was reacting to what was happening.
Yeah, it was like a scene from a disaster movie.
Yeah.
And those people in black robes being pulled out of the crowd. What was that about?
We don't know for sure, but there have been rumors about purification camps.
Purification camps? That sounds horrifying.
They're supposedly being set up to re-educate anyone who's deemed a threat to the Ascendantist regime.
Man, this is all so unsettling. It feels like we've woken up in some kind of nightmare.
I know what you mean. It's hard to believe this is happening in the 21st century in America.
You know, we came to the Netherlands to get away from all of this.
We thought we'd be safe here.
But it seems like nowhere is safe from this ideology.
It's spreading like a virus, infecting minds and hearts.
But we can't give up hope, right?
Absolutely not. We have to fight back.
But what can we do? We're here in the Netherlands, thousands of miles away from the U.S. We can't just sit here and watch this happen.
You're right, we can't. We might be far from home, but we can still make a difference.
How?
We can spread awareness. We can share what we know, amplify the voices of those who are resisting, and show the world what's truly happening in America.
We can use our platform here to fight back against this dangerous ideology.
Exactly. We have a voice, and we need to use it.
We can't let them silence us.
We have to keep speaking truth to power, even from across the ocean.
You know, we have all this source material on Ascendantism, the academic paper, Trump's speeches. Maybe by digging into that, we can find some clues on how to combat this movement, how to understand it better.
I agree. Knowledge is power. The more we understand about Ascendantism, the better equipped we'll be to fight against it.
So we have these excerpts from a book called Ascendantism. It's pretty academic, but it provides a deep dive into the ideology. It's fascinating and terrifying to see how it's woven itself through history.
Ascendantism is considered a foundational text in understanding this ideology, It analyzes the historical roots, the core beliefs, and the modern manifestations of this movement.
It's definitely worth a read. Okay, here's a passage that caught my eye. Ascendantism, an ideology that traces its roots back to the Fertile Crescent of Mesopotamia, has cast a long shadow over human history. Rooted in an unshakable belief in the inherent superiority of a chosen elite, this doctrine has spread like a creeping poison through the veins of civilization, leaving its mark on every age it has touched.
Powerful stuff. That passage really gets to the heart of what makes Ascendantism so dangerous.
It's an ancient ideology that keeps resurfacing in different forms throughout history, always leading to oppression, violence, and often genocide.
Yeah, it's a recurring nightmare that humanity just can't seem to shake off.
It's a stark reminder that this is not just some fringe belief system.
It's a force that has shaped the course of human events for millennia.
The book goes on to describe how Ascendantism has manifested in various historical periods, from ancient Egypt to Nazi Germany.
Always with the same result.
Oppression, violence, and often genocide.
Yeah, it's a pretty grim picture.
And now it's happening again, right here, right now in America.
We have to learn from the past.
We have to recognize the warning signs.
And we have to stop this before it goes any further.
Okay, so let's shift gears a bit and look at the speech Trump gave after his election victory back in November.
Yes, that speech was a turning point.
It was the first time he publicly expressed support for Ascendantism, right?
And announced his alliance with Baudet and Jarretters.
We have the official transcript of that speech right here.
Let's see how he framed his ideological transformation step by step.
All right, here's the opening of the speech. My fellow Americans, this is more than just an election victory. This is the beginning of a new chapter in the history of our nation, and indeed our world. Today marks the dawn of an era that has been foretold for centuries.
Classic demagoguery, right?
Yeah, he's framing his victory as a historic turning point.
It's the beginning of a new age.
Like he's chosen by destiny to lead us into this new era.
Exactly. And notice how he says our world, not just our nation.
He's already thinking globally, isn't he?
He's seeing himself as the leader of a global movement.
He continues, an era in which truth and strength are restored. Ascendantism, the highest path of enlightenment and truth, has prepared us for this moment.
There it is, plain and simple. He's explicitly naming Ascendantism as the guiding ideology of his agenda.
He's not even trying to hide it anymore.
Nope, he's embracing it fully.
And he goes further. The chaos and division of recent years have not been without purpose. They were the death throes of an old order ruled by illusions and manipulations. Today, we end the reign of Theophilus Emmanuelis and his masters of the shadows. Their time is over.
He's setting up the narrative, creating the enemy.
Theophilus Emmanuelis and the masters of the shadows.
Wherever they are.
They're the scapegoats, the embodiment of everything Ascendantism sees as wrong with the world.
The forces of darkness that need to be vanquished.
And he's positioning himself as the hero who will defeat them.
The savior of the true America.
It's a classic tactic, right? Divide and conquer. Create an enemy, demonize them, and then use that fear and anger to consolidate your power.
Exactly. And it gets even more disturbing. From this moment forward, the pure bloodlines, the guardians of truth, will lead this nation, and indeed the world, toward a glorious future, just as leaders of the past, like Adolf Hitler, also strived for.
Whoa, hold on. Did he just invoke Hitler as an inspiration?
He did. It's a chilling statement.
It shows how deeply entrenched he is in this ideology.
And how far he's willing to go to implement it.
And then he introduces Baudet and Jarrett's. Thierry Baudet and Hester Jarrett's are not merely my allies. They are harbingers of a new age. Their wisdom and resolve have helped guide us to this path. Together with them and with you, the people of America, we will build a world where the pure will triumph and truth will forever reign.
He's confirming their leadership within the Ascendantist movement.
They're his partners in crime, basically.
He's architects of this new age he's talking about.
And then something truly strange happens. At that moment, Thierry and Hester vanish in a flash of light. The crowd gasps and murmurs in astonishment, but Trump, unfazed, continues speaking with renewed vigor.
That was pure theatrics.
Yeah, like a magic trick gone wrong, but in a creepy way.
It was clearly staged, meant to showcase their supposed supernatural powers.
And to all the audience, right? Like, look at the power we wield. We could even defy the laws of physics.
It was a power play, plain and simple, and Trump seizes the moment. This is a message to the world. America is no longer merely a nation. We are a movement. We are the bloodlines. We are the light that banishes the darkness. And with the power of the Archeo-Ascendants and their wisdom, we will establish a dominion that will last for eternity.
He's declaring war on the world, basically.
He's saying that America is the vanguard of this Ascendantist revolution.
And that they will rule the world forever.
It's a megalomaniacal fantasy.
He continues. Let this moment be a promise to ourselves, to our children, and to the generations to come. We will carry the torch of civilization, we will safeguard the truth, and we will ensure that America, under the guidance of the bloodlines, shall reign forever.
He's framing Ascendantism as a legacy, a duty to be passed down through generations.
Like some kind of twisted inheritance.
He's trying to entrench his ideology in the future, to make his new America permanent.
It's a chilling vision. A world where freedom and democracy are replaced by a totalitarian regime based on bloodline and hierarchy.
We have to do everything in our power to prevent this dystopia from becoming reality. We have to fight for our freedom, for our democracy, for our humanity.
So let's just recap what we've covered so far. Trump has openly embraced Ascendantism, a dangerous ideology based on bloodline, hierarchy, and the supremacy of an elite few. He's announced his intention to use this ideology to transform America and establish a new world order.
That about sums it up. We're witnessing a democratically elected leader openly espousing totalitarian ambitions and aligning himself with an ideology that has led to some of the most horrific atrocities in human history.
It's hard to believe this is happening in the 21st century, in a country that has always prided itself on being a beacon of freedom and democracy.
It shows how fragile our freedoms are, how quickly things can change if we're not vigilant.
What can we do to stop this trend? What can we do to combat Ascendantism?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? There's no easy answer. But I think it starts with acknowledging the gravity of the situation.
We can't just bury our heads in the sand and pretend this isn't happening.
Exactly. We have to face the reality of what we're dealing with.
We have to expose the myths and lies they use to lure people in.
Well, we have to tell the truth about this ideology, no matter how painful it might be.
We also have to support those who are resisting Ascendantism, those who are fighting for democracy and human rights.
We have to build a united front against this ideology wherever it emerges.
We can't let them divide us.
We have to stand together and fight for the kind of world we want to live in.
A world where everyone is valued and respected, regardless of their bloodline.
A world where freedom and democracy prevail.
Now, one thing that really worries me is how Ascendantism might leverage modern technology to advance its agenda.
That's a valid concern.
We're already seeing how algorithms and social media are being used to spread misinformation and manipulate people.
It's a powerful tool in the wrong hands.
It's scary to think how a regime like Trump's could use these technologies for surveillance, censorship, and control.
Imagine facial recognition technology linked to DNA databases, used to identify and track people with the wrong bloodline.
Social media algorithms that amplify Ascendantist propaganda and suppress dissenting voices.
Artificial intelligence used to predict and neutralize dissidents.
It sounds like a dystopian nightmare.
And it's not just science fiction. We're already seeing authoritarian regimes around the world using these technologies to consolidate their power.
And Trump has already hinted at his interest in using advanced technology to ensure national security. What we witnessed yesterday at that inauguration wasn't just a traditional transfer of power.
It felt like a hostile takeover.
Veiled in this pseudo-religious spectacle.
And we need to realize that this is just the beginning. Trump and his Ascendantist allies will use their power to reshape American society according to their ideology.
So what can we do to resist? It all feels so overwhelming.
We can't give up hope. We have to organize, collaborate, and make our voices heard. We have to raise awareness, speak truth to power, and resist injustice wherever we see it.
We have to talk to our friends, family, colleagues.
We have to contact the media, reach out to politicians, protest, sign petitions. We have to use every legal means at our disposal to fight back.
And we have to be mindful of the role technology plays in our lives.
We have to demand that technology be used for good, not for oppression.
We have to be vigilant and keep fighting for our freedom, our democracy, and our shared humanity.
We can't let Ascendantism win.
This is a pivotal moment in history.
It's a battle between two visions of the world. A world based on freedom, equality, and solidarity, or a world ruled by fear, hatred, and oppression.
We choose the former.
And we urge everyone listening to join us in this fight.
We need to stand together and resist this dangerous ideology.
The future of our freedom and our very humanity is at stake.
Don't let them win.
Stay informed, stay engaged, and keep fighting for a better world. It's kind of wild how all this connects back to what we were saying about Ascendantism, the historical context.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Like hearing those echoes of Nazi Germany in Trump's speech.
It's chilling, right?
It's not just a coincidence, is it?
Definitely not.
Remember that passage we read from Ascendantism about how it influenced the Nazis?
Yeah, it was talking about.
The parallels are just, they're scary, to be honest.
They really are.
Like the obsession with racial purity,
Yeah.
the belief in a master race destined to rule, the whole cult of the charismatic leader.
It's like they're taking this old, dangerous playbook.
And they've just given it a 21st century makeover.
Exactly. And they're using modern technology to amplify their message.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, remember that whole disappearing act with Baudet and Jarrah Kearns?
Yeah, with the flash of light.
It was like a magic show, but creepy.
Pure theatrics.
But effective theatrics, right?
Oh, yeah. It played right into their whole mystique.
Their whole shtick about having supernatural powers.
You know that went viral on social media?
I bet it did.
And those algorithms, man.
They're just going to push that content to people who are already,
Susceptible to this kind of ideology.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what can we do about it? I mean, we can't just sit back and watch it.
We have to fight back, but with facts, with reason, with
Compassion.
yeah, with compassion. We have to expose the lies,
The manipulation.
the historical parallels, the consequences.
Right. Show people what could really happen if this ideology takes hold.
We have to be the voice of sanity in this crazy world.
Okay, so we've talked about the historical parallels, but what about the economic implications of ascendantism? What happens to an economy when everything is based on bloodline instead of, hard work?
That's a great point. Ascendantism isn't just a political or social threat, it's an economic one too. Just imagine your job, your income,
Your whole future, basically.
all determined by who your ancestors were, not by your own skills or effort. It would stifle innovation, crush productivity.
And forget about social mobility.
Right. Like, if you're born into the wrong bloodline, you're basically stuck.
It creates a stagnant society,
Yeah, where the elite just hoard wealth and power.
and everyone else is left to fight over the scraps.
Exactly. It's a recipe for disaster, economically speaking.
So we've got the historical parallels, the political implications, the economic risks. But what about the human cost?
Yeah, what about the people who don't fit into their definition of pure bloodlines? That's the real tragedy here.
It's heartbreaking.
Ascendantism dehumanizes entire groups of people. It labels them as inferior or unworthy.
Just based on their ancestry.
Yeah, it's like they're reducing human beings to their DNA.
It's terrifying, and we're already seeing signs of this happening in the U.S., right?
Absolutely. The reports of purification camps, the people being rounded up at the inauguration.
It's like something out of a dystopian novel, but it's happening in real life.
It's chilling. It reminds us of the darkest chapters of human history.
And it shows how dangerous this ideology can be when it gains power.
We can't let that happen again.
But what can we do? It feels like such a massive, overwhelming problem.
I know it feels that way, but we can't give up hope.
What can we do, even from here in the Netherlands?
We have to speak out. We have to educate others. We have to support those who are resisting.
Even small actions can make a difference.
We can donate to organizations fighting ascendantism. We can share information online. We can talk to our friends and family.
We have to make our voices heard.
And we have to keep believing that a better world is possible.
A world without hatred, without discrimination, without the tyranny of bloodlines.
We have to keep fighting for that world no matter how difficult it gets.
We can't let fear paralyze us.
We have to channel our anger, our sadness, our outrage into action.
We have to stand up for what we believe in.
And we have to do it together.
Thinking back on all this material, the academic book on ascendantism,
Yeah.
there's a part that really stuck with me.
Which part?
It's the part where they talk about how ascendantism distorts history, how it twists narratives and manipulates facts.
Oh, yeah. It's like they're creating their own alternative reality.
One that's based on fear and resentment instead of truth and reason.
And they're using that to justify their hateful ideology.
It's so insidious.
It really is. That's why it's so important to be critical thinkers.
To question everything we see and hear, especially online.
Don't just blindly accept what you're being told.
Do your own research, check your sources, and think for yourself.
We have to be discerning consumers of information.
So it's not just about fighting back against ascendantism, it's about defending the truth.
Exactly. We're in a battle for the truth, for a shared reality based on facts and reason.
And that battle is being fought online as much as it is in the real world.
Absolutely. We have to be vigilant against misinformation and propaganda.
So how do we win this battle? How do we fight back against this tide of
lies and manipulation.
Yeah.
We have to be critical thinkers. We have to be willing to challenge our own biases,
we have to be willing to engage in dialogue with people who hold different views.
even if those views make us uncomfortable.
It's about listening, understanding, and finding common ground.
It's about recognizing our shared humanity, even when we disagree.
You know, one of the most powerful weapons we have in this fight is our own personal stories.
Our stories.
Yeah, the stories of our lives, the stories of people we know who have been affected by this ideology.
The stories that humanize the issue.
Exactly. Those stories can be incredibly powerful in countering the abstract, dehumanizing rhetoric of ascendantism.
They bring the issue down to earth, make it real, make it relatable.
They show that this isn't just some abstract ideological debate.
It's about real people, real lives.
We need to share those stories, amplify those voices.
create a chorus of resistance that can't be ignored.
I think that's a good place to wrap up this part of our deep dive.
Yeah, we've covered a lot of ground today.
From the historical roots of ascendantism to the very real threat it poses to our world today.
It's heavy stuff, but it's important that we understand it.
And that we don't give up hope.
We can't let them win.
Stay tuned for part 3, where we'll explore some potential strategies for resisting ascendantism and building a more just and equitable world. So, we've spent the last 2 parts really digging into the ugly side of ascendantism.
It's heavy stuff, no doubt.
From its history to its current influence, it's pretty scary stuff, to be honest.
And it can feel overwhelming.
Yeah, like what can we even do?
But we're not powerless.
Right.
There are things we can do individually and collectively to resist.
So where do we even begin?
Well, we need to keep doing what we're doing, educating ourselves and others.
About the dangers of ascendantism, right?
Exactly. The more people understand this ideology,
The less likely they are to fall for it.
right, the less susceptible they'll be to its promises.
Okay, so education is key.
Absolutely.
What else? What can we do to actively resist?
We need to support those who are resisting ascendantism on the front lines, the people and organizations.
Who are speaking out,
Yeah.
organizing?
Yeah, providing legal aid, documenting abuses.
It's like donating to organizations,
Yeah.
amplifying their message.
Exactly, connecting them with resources, whatever we can do.
Right. Even from here in the Netherlands, we can make a difference.
Every little bit helps.
Here, education, supporting resistance movements. What else, especially here in Europe?
We need to be vigilant in our own communities.
Because this isn't just an American problem, right?
No, it's global. We need to be aware of it here, watching for signs of its influence.
We can't be complacent thinking, oh, that's just happening over there.
Exactly. And we need to be proactive in promoting the values of democracy.
Equality, human rights.
Yes, supporting organizations that work on those issues, engaging in dialogue.
Being active citizens.
It's like building a firewall.
Against ascendantism.
Exactly.
Strengthening those foundations of democracy.
Intolerance. And that starts locally.
We talked before about technology and how ascendantism might use it. That's a whole other beast.
It is.
It's like we're in this constant battle against fake news, conspiracy theories, algorithms.
It's a battle for information, for the truth.
So how do we fight that?
We need to be critical thinkers, question everything we see online.
Not just believe everything we read.
Right. Support independent media, fact-checking organizations.
Hold social media platforms accountable for the content they allow.
We need to be discerning, basically.
But digital detectives?
Yeah, always on the lookout for manipulation.
You know, one thing that gets lost in all this talk about ideology is the importance of, well,
Of what?
of human connection.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Because ascendantism thrives on division.
Right.
Pitting people against each other.
Divide and conquer.
So one of the most powerful things we can do is build bridges.
Connect with people.
Yeah, reach out to those who might be susceptible to this propaganda.
Have real conversations.
Show them there's a better way.
Based on compassion, cooperation.
Mutual respect. It's about humanizing the other.
Recognizing our shared humanity.
And that's what will ultimately defeat this.
It's not just facts and arguments.
It's about human connection.
This deep dive has been
A lot.
It has. From Trump's inauguration to the history of ascendantism, it's a lot to process.
But the key takeaway is that we're not powerless.
We can't control what's happening in the U.S., but we can control how we respond.
We can choose to be informed, engaged, active in resisting.
And we can choose to build a better future.
One based on freedom, equality, human dignity.
Exactly. The future is not set in stone.
We can shape it.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
We know it's been heavy.
but we hope it's been informative.
And empowering.
And we hope you'll continue to join us as we explore these issues.
And search for solutions.
Until next time.
Stay vigilant out there.
Thank you for listening to the Ascendants Chronicles, brought to you by VU Campus Dalbergen. Special thanks to our hosts, researchers, and the production team for making this episode possible. For more stories, insights, and updates, visit linkter.ee/dalbergenonline, linkter.ee/dalbergenonline, where you'll find links to our social media, the campus website, city information, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review on your favorite podcast platform. Your feedback helps us grow and reach more listeners like you. Until next time, keep exploring the stories that shape our world. Stay curious, stay inspired.